a consultancy that's focused on laws and policies related to climate change and the environment. He joins us from Manila this morning. Grip, good morning to you. Could you first explain to us the significance of this update and how it empowers children to combat climate change through legal means?
Good morning, Julie and Steve. It's a pleasure to be joining your program. Good morning from Manila. And I think over the past few hours, at least since yesterday, when the General Comment number 26 came out from the Committee on the Rights of the Child, the legal field, the human rights, the children's rights field, the environmental legal field has been abuzz with comments about this. And I think it's quite significant because now we are seeing another area of law and another area of human rights where environmental issues and climate change impacts are seen as intersecting. Toward last year, the UN General Assembly recognized the right to a clean and healthy environment as a fundamental right. Earlier, the UN Human Rights Committee also recognized that right. So now we are seeing this sort of consolidation of the recognition that climate change, environmental issues impacts fundamental human rights. And now we are seeing this impact specifically on children's rights.
And what did you make of that landmark ruling in Montana that we mentioned earlier in the United States that favored a group of youths who accused the state of breaching their rights to a clean environment? A significant moment? Does it have any teeth?
Well, I think it's quite significant, especially for a jurisdiction like the United States, wherein we've seen hits and misses or wins and losses when it comes to environment and climate litigation. And I think the decision in Montana comes at a significant time, especially since now we have this General Comment number 6. We are seeing youth from not just from developed countries like the United States, but also from countries in the Pacific. Here in the Philippines, in our region, in ASEAN, bringing cases to courts, to different tribunals to push government action, even action from non-government entities to address environmental issues and climate change. And I think it's I would say it can be considered as a landmark decision. Especially for the United States. And but of course, this is just the first step. It's only the Montana court, and the decision can potentially be appealed to the higher courts. So we'll have to wait and see how the higher courts, the appellate courts, and even perhaps the U.S. Supreme Court will look at this type of decision.
Yeah, great. And going back to this UN committee's guidance, while it has been broadly welcomed, some argue that it doesn't go far enough. Would you agree? Are there aspects of this document that perhaps could have been more ambitious?
Well, of course, first I think we have to understand that as Steve and you, Julie, mentioned earlier, this document went through consultations in 121 countries. Over 6,000 children were consulted. So you have different views, different opinions from around the world coming in. So it will be quite difficult to put all those views and comments into one document. But I think yes, the document could have been more specific in its recommendations. It could have been, some have said that it could have been more forceful when it tells governments, tells the private sector, the businesses to respect and protect children's rights. But I think we have to understand that this is, again, quite significant because now you're seeing another aspect of human rights law, which is reminding governments that to be able to enjoy the fundamental human rights, for children to be able to enjoy their fundamental human rights, climate change and environmental issues need to be addressed. And I think the document also goes a step further, and it doesn't only direct governments, it doesn't only direct states to take action against climate change. There are actually several directives for states and even for businesses to take action to protect children's rights against environmental degradation. Business and human rights came up as a topic in the general comment. and at the same time, there were specific suggestions and recommendations for the business sector, the private sector, to actually reduce their emissions, especially those in industries which are heavily emitting carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases, since these exacerbate climate change. And at the same time, another thing that I saw, there was a specific recommendation from the Committee on the Rights of the Child to look at how climate financing is being looked at. The committee specifically noted that climate financing seems to be slanted or skewed towards mitigation efforts, whereas in the case of children, at least, we need to look at how children need to adapt already to our climate emergency and climate crisis world. You noted in the introduction to this segment that children are being impacted around the world. Just before this segment, you mentioned the flooding in China, and right now in the northern Philippines, provinces that were being battered by a strong storm just a month ago are again having to deal with a Category 3 storm. And today is incidentally the first day of classes in public schools around the country. And children in the north right now cannot go to school because these extreme weather events are becoming more common. Just this morning, I was listening to the news that another province in the central Philippines, who experienced extreme rainfall about a month or 2 months ago. There are still thousands of children who cannot go to school because hundreds of school facilities and public schools are still being used as evacuation centers. So all of these are adding to the fact that this general comment, this guidance which the Committee on the Rights of the Child is giving, it's adding to the significance and to the timeliness of this report.
Grip, we'll have to leave it there for now. Well, thank you very much for your insight this morning. Grip Bueta, fellow with Parabukas. Thank you for joining us.